Buddha was born 2500 years back, but even today his philosophy is very much there. He went beyond nationality, he went beyond religions, he went beyond gender. So he saw human being as one. I have been talking about this serial for some time with various people, and Subhash Chandra ji, who is the chairman of Zee TV, and we had a lot of discussions. And I think we have the same passion to tell this subject, and that's why Spice and Zee TV got together. We have tried to compress the story of Buddha, which is his life of 82 years, in a 52 1-hour episodes.
Dr. P.K. Modi, who is a renowned businessman, it was very interesting to know the creative side of him. In a real sense of a true producer, he was involved in every stage with art director, with the director, with the creative director and the story writer.
ये सीरियल को मुझे टिपिकल जो हमारे यहाँ हिंदुस्तान में जिस तरह से सीरियल बनते हैं उस तरह से ट्रीट नहीं करना था. ट्रीट करना था मोर ऑन अ लेवल ऑफ अ फिल्म.
You know, this serial has been made on the basis of a research which we have been doing for more than 30 years. And we have tried to make the serial as authentic as possible.
जैसे जैसे हम उसमें इन्वॉल्व होते गए और सारी चीज़ें हमें पता चलती गई, हमने उसको पॉइंट डाउन करके एक चीज़ें हमारी तैयार करने लगे हम.
Action.
I'm living that life. The moment Dharmesh ji, the director, says action, I become Mangala. For me, to speak like that, to walk like that, to behave like that is very different than being myself, Nigar.
मुझे काफ़ी वक्त लगा उसमें रिसर्च करने में. टिबेटन किताबें, कुछ ट्रांसलेशंस की हुई किताबें वो पढ़ी.
चैलेंजिंग पार्ट जो है वो था सेट्स को लेके. इतना बड़ा एपिक बनाना मतलब आपको एक पूरा वर्ल्ड क्रिएट करना है.
सबसे बड़ा चैलेंज मेरे लिए वो था कि टू गेट द कॉस्ट्यूम्स, द ज्वेलरी राइट, एंड हिस्टोरिकली भी गलत ना हो वो.
जब मेरे पास इस किरदार के लिए ऑडिशन का कॉल आया तो एक आर्टिस्ट के लिए इतनी बड़ी बात थी कि उसको उसके लिए पहले से काफ़ी सारी तैयारियां करनी होती है. तो मैंने भी बुद्धा के बारे में बहुत सारी किताबें पढ़ी और फिर मैंने ऑडिशन दिया. तकरीबन 1 महीने के बाद मेरे पास कॉल आता है कि आप इसके लिए चुने गए हैं, आपको 10 दिन के लिए विपाशना के लिए जाना है. तब मैंने विपाशना के बारे में नहीं सुना था, तो उन्होंने बताया विपाशना एक ऐसी जगह है जहाँ पर इंसान अपने अंतर मन को जानता है. और वहाँ जाकर मैंने बहुत सारी चीज़ें सीखी. मानसिक तौर पर और शारीरिक तौर पर मैं पूरी तरह से बदल गया उन 10 दिनों के बाद.
This kind of project is a dream project for every actor. Buddha, the whole story has never been shown on Indian television, and being a part of a show like this, which was definitely going to make a mark in the market, and I definitely wanted to be a part of this show.
जो हमें स्क्रिप्ट मिलती है उसको जब हम पढ़ते हैं तो हमारे रोंगटे खड़े हो जाते हैं बिकॉज ऑफ, क्योंकि उन्होंने जो अपने जीवन को एक सच्चाई के मार्ग पर चलते हुए अपने माता पिता, समाज, जात पात, धर्म, कर्म कांड, इन सब से लड़ते हुए जब वो आगे निकले तो उनके 5 सहयोगी जो मित्र थे साधु, उन्होंने भी उन्हें एक टाइम पर छोड़ दिया था कि इन्हें कभी जीवन और मृत्यु का मार्ग मिल ही नहीं सकता. बुद्ध यही कहते थे, जो जीवन की सच्चाई है आप उसी के पीछे जाएं. जहाँ सुख है वहाँ दुख भी है.
I think today the violence is because we think the other person is different. There is a thing about good and bad. what Buddha found, and he sort of explained that we are all interconnected.
Besides the set and everything, we are trying to push the envelope of Indian television. So we've chosen red as our camera format. It creates a very cinema-like quality. Very important aspect of this show is the post-production. The two aspects, VFX and color correction, DI. So we are following the processes as would normally happen in a film.
जहाँ बुद्धा का जन्म हुआ था, लुम्बिनी वन, जो राजा सुदबोधन जहाँ रहते थे, कपिलवस्तु, असित मुनि का जो रहने की जगह थी हिमालय पे, तो वो सारे एरिया जो क्रिएट करने पड़े, तो उसके लिए हमें पहले स्केचेस, कुछ कॉन्सेप्ट आर्ट क्रिएट करने पड़े. इंटीरियर शॉट्स हैं जिसे हम क्रोमा के अगेंस्ट शूट करते हैं. जैसे हमें कपिलवस्तु का अगर पैलेस का शूट है, तो पीछे पूरा कपिलवस्तु सिटी हमें क्रिएट करना है. तो हमें वो सब क्रिएट करने के लिए वहाँ के जो घर हैं उनको बनाना है. उसके पीछे एक माउंटेन्स का लेयर है. इन सभी को लेयर बाय लेयर प्लेस करके उस विंडो को एकदम रियलिस्टिकली ब्लेंड करना पड़ता है कि वो पैलेस का एक्सटीरियर पार्ट है.
ओवरऑल अगर म्यूज़िक की बात करें तो बुद्धा शो के अंदर हमने वर्ल्ड म्यूज़िक अचीव करने की कोशिश की है. डिफरेंट इंस्ट्रूमेंट्स होंगे और हार्मनीज जो वेस्टर्न हार्मनीज होती हैं उनको हम कोशिश करेंगे कि उसके अंदर ब्लेंड करें. साउंड जो उस विजुअल को, जो बुद्धा को उनके मैसेज को कन्वे करता है, वो हमने साउंड्स कोशिश की है इस पर ब्लेंड करने की.
ये कोई डॉक्यूमेंट्री नहीं है. इट इज़ अ वेरी इंस्पिरेशनल सीरियल जो एंटरटेनमेंट के साथ आपको एक मैसेज भी देगा.
We are very thankful to Zee TV, especially with their presence in 169 countries in around the world, which is much larger and huge than any film presents.
मैं धन्यवाद देना चाहूँगा मिस्टर BK मोदी जी और सुभाष चंद्र गोयल जी को, जिन्होंने इस किरदार के लिए मेरा चयन किया.
For this opportunity, I really want to give thanks to Dr. Modi, my director, and Ridwana.
मैं धन्यवाद देना चाहूँगा रिद्वाना जी को, जिन्होंने आज से 1 साल पहले जो हिमांशु सोनी था उसे बदलकर सिद्धार्थ गौतम के चरित्र में ढाला. और मैं जाते जाते अंत में आपसे यही प्रार्थना करना चाहूँगा, ये सब अनित्य है, सब बदल जाता है, सभी खुश रहें और सभी अपने जीवन से सभी बुराइयों को हटा दें. धन्यवाद.
Serial is basically for the young generation because they are today looking for a way how to live their lives. They are confused by what they hear in the mythology and what the Indian religion and other things, and also making you realize that you have to focus on yourself, and it's your self-confidence is what you are, is what you can use that in your life to make yourself happy and make other people happy.
मन की डाली हवा से लचक गई रे, लचक गई रे. प्रेम इतना भरा में छलक गई रे, ओ छलक गई रे. नाच के दिखाओ किस यार को हाँ भटकना मुझे मैं भटक गई रे भटक गई रे प्रेम इतना भरा में झलक गई रे झलक गई
Buddha and Grand Epic Show was recently reviewed and blessed by Dalai Lama at Dharmshala with Dr. B.K. Modi and the show team. Dalai Lama was impressed with the work done by team on the show, and his words were,
So now after, so many years, I've been able to make the serial on Buddha. So now the serial has been going on ZTV, and the journey has moved. 26 episode has happened. 26 more will come. So now Siddharth goes out of the palace, and now his journey to become Buddha starts. So it's getting very popular, and we want to now Sri Lanka we are starting in March, and now which countries now?
We will also showing in Cambodia, in Thailand, in Myanmar, and Indonesia.
The important is the message. That if you relying on Pali tradition will not complete. More attraction about Buddha Dharma, and also something unique about Buddha Dharma. The important point only available in Sanskrit tradition.
Yes.
In Nalanda tradition.
That's what we are.
I think, frankly speaking, I think that tradition, through hardship, learning, study, hard work, 20, 30 years, we only Tibetan kept that. I met a number of Buddhist scholars from Japan, from China, even those the Sanskrit tradition, same tradition, same text, but they consider, these texts like part of prayer. They just read without study.
Without study.
We, at least 20, 30 years, even me, as far as study is concerned, no exception as the Dalai Lama. my tutor kept weep when I study. So you see, I study out of fear because of the weep. My case, 13 years study and debate. Debate is very, very important. Now Chinese tradition, no sort of study of Brahman, logic, epistemology, way. No, logic. Only Tibetan. Because you see, the root text about logic, Dignak, Dharmakirti, available only in Tibetan language, not in Chinese. One short sort of text wrote by Dignak, that translated into Chinese. Otherwise, no translation. So with Tibetan, I think last, over 1,000 years, all these translations, these major texts translated into Tibetan, available, and then the Sakya Pentadhara, he wrote Kasachuti. It was on logic. Wonderful. And many Tibetan lamas, you see, study logic very seriously and wrote many books. So therefore, one time I told the Abdul Kalam, when he had some sort of connection in Nalanda University, I told that now, just as he build one sort of construction, big building, is not sufficient. Learning, knowledge, that's important. So frankly speaking, the Tibetan scholars have the best knowledge because they study rigorously.
We have taken Rinpoche-ji, as Rinpoche. He was with us. He went to Bombay also. He met all the writers and he gave certain direction.
Yeah, good.
So we are following Rinpoche-ji's direction.
Good, then good.
And he has been seeing the serial also. And now we want to translate the serial into Tibet language so that all the people in Tibet can also see. So we will work with your department, INB department, and ZTV, who is, it can be dubbed.
Very good, very good.
We can dub it in Tibetan language. We have dubbed it in Thai language. We have dubbed it in Sinhalese.
Sri Lanka.
Our serial first is 52 episodes,
Yes.
1 hour each.
Yes.
We are going in very detail,
long, very
and everything is logical. And people are very much liking because we are showing everything, how he develops, what changes take place. So I would request if somebody, Rinpoche-ji has seen it and he has been watching it. So he has been interacting with us. We are coming out with DVDs also, because a lot of people miss it.
I think his first Dharma wheel, Sanat, that's a common Pali tradition and Sanskrit tradition. That's the foundation of Buddha Dharma. And then second Dharma wheel, according to Sanskrit now, Rajgiri. So there are Prajnaparamita Sutra about Shunyata. That is something unique in Sanskrit tradition. That also is a which is a Madhyamika philosophy, Madhyamika tradition. Then Chudhaza, Vaishali, the third Dhamma wheel. So I think once you include in these later two, that's mainly Sanskrit tradition. So that's, I think, the point you can explain. It's few words, few sentences, you see, about the essence of Prajnaparamita Sutra, about Shunyata. The very subtle level of explanation of Pratitya Samupad. The first Dhamma wheel also you see taught Pratitya Samupad, but that is the mainly according law of causality. Then the second Dhamma wheel, Pratitya Samupad. Then you see the meaning is
interdependency of everything.
Interdependent.
So that now modern scientists also say very much from that. See, and usually I tell you, see, people, that concept, although come from Buddha's teaching, but it can applicable to environmental issue, global economy issue, or global sort of the relations, and including physical sort of health, mind must, emotion must include. So more holistic. Because you see, physical health depends on emotion. Healthy emotion is very, very important for healthy body. So everything, the family, happy family, not completely relying on one person, or father, or mother, or like sons, or their relatives. You see, in order to build a happy family, all is related. So that very, very important. So that is not available in Pali tradition. So these I feel, and then infinite altruism, particularly the altruism towards your enemy.
Attitude.
These are very, very important. Then you see, your enemy should consider as your good teacher.
Yes.
Teaching patience. These things. So these things I think, although come from Buddhism, but all major religious tradition, you see, which carry the message of love, forgiveness, and tolerance. All sorts of tradition related with these things.
So to repeat, one is the middle path, second is the interconnectedness, third is the attitude. It's very important, that for the young people, they don't understand Buddha. So if we go in sort of one or two sentences, how you explain Buddha?
I usually describe Buddha. One aspect, of course, monk, bhikshu, one prince, where? Yes, small kingdom. The Buddhist literature say, oh, very big kingdom. No, I think small kingdom. So Buddha, one bhikshu, the great teacher of one great sort of tradition. Then also you see, I usually explaining or describe Buddha as a great Indian thinker and philosopher. And also, because you see, one of his teaching, he mentioned, oh, my follower should not accept my teaching out of faith, out of devotion, but rather thorough investigation and experiment. That's a very scientific way of approach. I think no past teacher used to say that. Even Buddha's own word, some text, they investigate. If you accept this point which mentioned by Buddha, it goes against the logic, so you should not accept that. So that's very scientific.
Yes.
So therefore, I usually describe Buddha also can be ancient Indian scientist. So then all his followers, most of his followers, particularly Nalanda, come from Nalanda. I usually describe these Nalanda masters, I describe professors of Nalanda institution. Otherwise, you see, when people heard bhikshu, then what is his impression? Not much knowledge. You see, these bhikshus are really scholar, really scholar. Even to investigate Buddha's own sort of word. So I am follower of Nalanda. So now I am no longer accept Vasubandhu's description of world, flat, Mount Meru in center, and sun and moon go like that. I no longer accept. This is my liberty. Buddha said that. Buddha give us liberty. Investigate. So that aspect, Buddha, I think ancient, I think you should say Indian. Buddha was Indian. So Indian philosopher, ancient Indian philosopher, Indian thinker, ancient Indian scientist. That I think important. So then somewhere I think you should put these verses, or should not accept my teaching out of faith and out of devotion, but rather thorough investigation and experiment. So that brings Buddha's the fundamental teaching, basic teaching, and modern scientific sort of way of thinking. Very similar. That's why even I think the Einstein is mentioned in future. Science and Buddha Dharma can go side by side. That's true. So those religions, of course, are wonderful. It benefits humanity, not only in past few thousand years, but even today, very, very helpful. In future, at least a few centuries, it will remain like that. So we must accept that. We must respect. We must admire. But at the same time, those people who want reasoning, then Buddhist way of approach, particularly Nalanda tradition, is a very, very sort of scientific way. Always investigate. Then also usually I tell people, the unique approach of Buddha Dharma is use human intelligence maximum way, through that way transform our emotion. That's Buddhist way, not prayer. If you truly believe God's message love, honest, truthful, how can involve corruption? Corruption, particularly India, ahimsa, corruption, also one form of one form of violence. If you really believe in non-violence, then you should not, because of corrupt. So those religious people, I don't know you, those religious people, particularly those millionaires, they sometimes say, for money matter, they don't care about God's sort of message. Sorry. I always teasing.
No, we have been, this message has to go to everybody. That's why the serial is a help, because media today is television.
That's right.
People don't read books anymore. The youth, nobody reads books. So that's why.
So these is a few sort of points that please give. If you agree, the problem, our existing education system is very much oriented economic value, material value. So generation who come through that kind of education, eventually, you see, their whole sort of way of thinking is just money, just material value. So eventually, create a society more oriented because of the materialistic sort of oriented culture, materialistic sort of oriented life. So if material value really brings inner peace, no. Many billionaires I know, very rich, as a person, very unhappy person. So therefore, we have this emotion. So the technology, science, existing science will not provide us affection. Modern medicine or alcohol or drug, no. Only must develop within ourselves. That also not out of faith. Reasoning, now scientists, many scientists say the constant stress, too much stress, and fear, anger, actually eating our immune system.
Stress and anger and fear.
So therefore, how to reduce that? Alcohol, short period, or drug, short period, or tranquilizer, short period. Since you see these fears, angers, stress, very much related to mind or emotion. So there's only way training of mind through, as I mentioned earlier, use human intelligence. Then transform our emotion. That's the unique Buddhist way.
It's always,
So no matter whether accept God or not, accept nirvana or next life, everyone wants to be happy life. So materialistic life, no guarantee happy life. So material value necessary. At the same time, the ancient Indian sort of culture of the Kasota, inner value. I usually describe ancient Indian psychology is highly advanced, including Buddhism. Compare Western psychology, modern psychology, India's is highly developed. So nowadays, last 30 years, number of scientists really showing eagerness to learn from ancient Indian psychology. We, as a student of Nalanda tradition, so when we discuss, they really very much sort of impressed. And now they actually, you see, learning from Tibetan tradition. That's India's tradition, Buddhist tradition, Nalanda tradition. So therefore, so that's the problem. So Indian young Indian youth, now because of modern education system, now we are working. Now I think within maybe end of this year, we may, some scientists, some educationists in America already sort of carry some sort of some project. And last, I think, almost 10 years, very good, sort of convincing, good result. So now some Indian universities also, including some university in Delhi, they're also now showing interest. So we are working. So that's the fundamental way. You see, from kindergarten up to university level, some moral ethics education. That also must be secular way. That also Indian tradition. If based on religion, then what religion? Therefore, India's constitution based on secular, because India is a multi-religious nation. If Indian constitution based on Hinduism, then Tibetans, Jains, or Buddhist or Jains, problem, or Christians, Islam. So the secular. So now our approach must be secular way to educate people for happy life. Inner value is the fundamental sort of factor to bring inner peace, self-confidence, inner strength.
Buddha, grand epic show. When asked by Dr. B.K. Modi about the show, his words were,
Serial is basically for the young generation because they are today looking for a way how to live their lives. They are confused by what they hear in the mythology and what the Indian religion and other things, and also making you realize that you have to focus on yourself, and your self-confidence is what you are, is what you can use that in your life to make yourself happy and make other people happy.
कंचन काया के सन्मुख जब हो कोई नतमस्तक मन में तब आलोकित हो प्रेम का पावन दीपक राग से क्यों वे
कथा, पुरुषार्थ कथा, सुनो सुनो सिद्धार्थ कथा। सत्य कथा, पुरुषार्थ कथा, सुनो सुनो सिद्धार्थ कथा। चढ़ते सूरज सा तेजवान वो कीर्तिमान, हुंकार भरे जब कूच करे, थर थर कांपे आसमान। वो राजपुत्र वो शूरवीर, पर्वत को भेद दे उसके तीर, शांति का स्रोत करुणा की धार, निर्झर झरे मन से अपार। वो राजपुत्र वो शूरवीर, पर्वत को भेद दे उसके तीर, है शाक्य वंश का वो तारा, जगमग है जिससे जग सारा। सत्य कथा, पुरुषार्थ कथा, सुनो सुनो सिद्धार्थ कथा।
एक ओर से आए राजा, दूजी ओर से पांडव भी। युद्ध हुआ रण में घमासान, अंत में जीते जो थे वीर। वो महाराज शुद्धोदन, जिसके लिए व्याकुल मन सबका, वहां आया शुभ समाचार। है कोई आने वाला जो लाएगा खुशियों का संसार।
अरे वो कौन है? कौन है भाई?
बुझो बुझो वो कपिल वस्तु का युवराज। छोटे छोटे चरण उसके राजमहल में दौड़ेंगे, उसकी प्यारी किलकारी राजमहल में गूंजेगी। वो जो हंसेगा नगर हंसेगा, उसके साथ जग झूमेगा। कल का सूरज आज ही देखो अपने राज्य में चमकेगा, वह आएगा वह आएगा। हाँ, पहेलियां मत बुझाओ जी, ये बताओ ना कौन आएगा कौन आएगा? अपना युवराज आएगा। डर में बीत गए दिन कितने, सन्नाटे में रातें, साम दाम दंड भेद के डंडे करते रहे बस बातें। आंखों में आंसू है भरे, होठों पे लिए मुस्कान। समय बीतता चला गया पर कर गया जग वीरान, कर गया जग वीरान। सारे शास्त्र कंठस्थ हुए और जप तप ज्ञान का चलन हुआ। छोटे से बड़े, बड़े से छोटे, बिंदु सिंधु का मिलन हुआ। बढ़ने लगी सृष्टि की संपदा, मीन विहग सब मिलने लगे। चारों दिशाएं खिली खिली सी, जीव से जीवन बढ़ने लगे, जीव से जीवन बढ़ने लगे। अश्व की मति मनुष्य की, युद्ध नीति तलवार प्रहार। वार शब्द का ज्ञान हो गया, बन गए सुख दुख जीत हार। हवन ज्ञान का पूर्ण हुआ, विकसित हुआ ज्ञान भंडार। देखते देखते खिलने लगा बीज से उपवन का श्रृंगार, बीज से उपवन का श्रृंगार।
सत्य कथा, पुरुषार्थ कथा, सुनो सुनो सिद्धार्थ कथा। संसार में दुख का कारण क्या, संताप शोक का निवारण क्या। संसार में दुख का कारण क्या, संताप शोक का निवारण क्या। इस खोज में सब कुछ त्याग दिया, हर वैभव से वैराग लिया। वो सृष्टि से संयुक्त हुए, सिद्धार्थ से गौतम बुद्ध हुए। शरणं गच्छामि, बुद्धं शरणं गच्छामि, धम्मं शरणं गच्छामि, संघं शरणं गच्छामि, बुद्धं शरणं गच्छामि। बुद्धं शरणं गच्छामि, धम्मं शरणं गच्छामि, संघं शरणं